Today on the Dennis Michael Lynch Show, the Grammys go totally woke and it pisses Trump off. He's threatening to sue, and he probably will. Also, a big Epstein file dump, 3.5 million pages, and I've read them all. Kidding. Ma'am Danny in New York, destroying it little by little. We've got a great show today, lots of stuff lined up, great clips. I'm going to ask you to hit the share button because it's all unfiltered.
Dennis Michael Lynch gives you his word, and he will never let you down. He will always fight for America.
The only one who really puts his money where his mouth is Dennis Michael Lynch.
Hello, I'm Dennis Michael Lynch, and I thank you for joining me today. It's Monday. We're here in Florida, and it is freezing. So I just want Al Gore to know that he doesn't have to worry about being discredited for global warming, because at least he's always got the internet. I mean, we know that he discovered that, and so he'll still be able to keep his credibility. But I can tell you that I have not been this cold in quite some time, and it's not breaking. The only thing that's breaking is all my plants. We just planted all brand new stuff out in the backyard, and it is slowly but surely right in front of me dying. So nothing like wasting your money on Mother Nature. But again, I think I'm going to send a bill to Al Gore. He owes me money, as far as I'm concerned. Oh, where do we start? I think we need to start with the Grammys. I don't think there's any choice. We have to start with the Grammys. Now, I know what you're thinking. DML, why are we covering the Grammys? I get it. I understand. It's sort of irrelevant to a certain degree, although they still do get some viewership. Denny's going to have some numbers here for me in a second about how many people are watching versus how many are not. But what we're going to do is we're going to start off here. As I'm talking, Ryan is going to play you a little bit of B-roll. You will see Justin Bieber showed the level of class called Degenerates. He came out and played his song in his underwear and socks. Now, some people are saying that that had some kind of reference to the Epstein files. I have no idea. All I know is that when you are a degenerate, you do degenerate things. And last night, there was an entire auditorium filled with degenerates. Make no mistake, and I will say this in my opinion, but I think my opinion probably has some facts surrounding it somewhere or another. You probably had an auditorium that were filled, totally filled with criminals. Criminals that we know of who have been arrested. And I'm willing to bet my money that there are a lot of criminals in there who've done a lot of bad things that we still haven't even found out about. I mean, Jay-Z is one of them. How many people in that auditorium do you think spent some time at P. Diddy's house with young girls who were getting abused? I don't know who in that audience may have done that, but I bet you there's a lot of them. Yeah, I can't name any names because, you know, after a while, they'll just say, oh, let's go after that guy for what he said. But I'm putting it out as a blanket statement, and that, in my opinion, you have probably some of the worst characters who just know how to dress up shiny to make themselves look like there's something worth listening to. And last night's theme had nothing to do with music. Nothing to do with music at all. What it had to do with last night was a rogue anti-ICE movement. That's what the Grammys were last night. It was all about saying no to ICE. And when you say no to ICE, you are basically saying okay to illegal behavior, because what they're doing is they're protecting illegal aliens. You know it and I know it. And the hypocrisy here is so incredible because the recording artists are the first ones to call the lawyers and to call YouTube and to call all of the social media platforms and scream and yell about piracy of their music. They stole my music. Can't steal my music. I want my money for my music. It's insanity because they will sit there and cry about somebody taking 13 seconds of their pathetic song, but then they're going to get up on stage and protect illegal aliens who steal jobs, who steal money, who steal lives. And so the hypocrisy is not just a little tiny speck here. The hypocrisy is disgusting and what you would expect out of a degenerate. Now, I guess the good news is that less amount of people each and every year appear to be watching the Grammys. Dennis, what do we have in terms of the numbers when it comes to people watching that pathetic event where degenerates give other degenerates awards for being degenerates?
Yeah, just to give a few years out, and this is based on cable and internet streaming. In 2012, it was 40 million. In 2016, it dropped to 25 million. In 2020, it dropped to 18 million. And last year's, it was at only 15 million.
All right. So it's definitely going down. Less people find the recording artists of today of any interest. And I think it's pretty fair for all of us to say that the music of yesterday was so much better than the music of today, not just in terms of the lyrics and the songs and the meaning, but also from the people who performed and from the people who were creating. Today, we've got a bunch of degenerates who are seeking attention like no other. Whether they're putting tattoos on their face, tattoos all over their bodies, barely dressing, doing whatever they can to do to upstage the next person so this way they could get the attention that their daddies never gave them. That would be an interesting question. If I was up on stage and I was hosting, my first question would be, how many people in here actually know who their father is? Raise their hand. And I bet you it would be very, very, very little amount of people. So the first clip I'm going to show you here is before they even got in the building, all of the news media caught on to the fact that this was going to be an anti-ICE protest. Here are, and I'm not even going to try to tell you what the names of these artists are, because not only do I not know who they are by visual, but I would never listen to any of their music. But here are two people who were apparently invited to the Grammys who are explaining why it is that last night everybody there had on a pin that read ICE out.
Listen, I believe that America's greatness is under attack by the very folks who seek to make it greater again. And this is why I'm wearing that iced out pin.
Right now, feeling any sense of joy and lightness feels a little bit irresponsible. Our own government has raised an army of masked, anonymous men to attack its own people. And that feels like utterly irresponsible for us to be celebrating anything right now.
I think it's so important for everybody to, because there's obviously so much going on in this country that is horrific to see and to be a bystander of, and to show any support and visibility I think is really important for all of us in the music industry and any industry. So I'm very happy to be wearing it today and hopefully see a lot of other pins out there too.
Yeah, okay. So here we go. So we're sending a message out to the 15 million people who probably watched last night. Because look, even though the numbers are going down for the Grammys from 40 million at a height to 15 million now, more than 50% of them have disappeared. It's still 10 million to 15 million people. It's an incredible amount of people. And most of these people watching will be younger folks. And so what they're doing is they're training and teaching young kids that ICE is the problem. ICE is the Gestapo. ICE are the people who are trying to take the folks who built this country and try to push them out. Now, I know most of you won't watch the Super Bowl, and those of you who will, you are also going to be of the ilk that I am part of, which is if I watch it, I am not watching the Super Bowl. We're going to turn it off because Bad Bunny, a guy from Puerto Rico who can barely speak a lick of English, he's going to be performing. He's a cross-dressing freak, and here is what this cross-dressing freak had to say when he won his award. Play Bad Bunny.
Say, eyes out. We're not savage, we're not animals, we're not aliens, we are humans, and we are Americans.
We are not savages. We're not aliens. We are Americans. See, this is how stupid these people are. First of all, you are savages. The illegal alien population is a group of savages because anybody who would steal the life of another, anybody who would steal Social Security numbers and not worry about the lives that they destroy in the process, anybody who would invade someplace and feel as if they're entitled to it is a savage. And we're not aliens. You are. Alien is the legal term. What part don't these people understand? You are an illegal alien or you are an alien. It's one or the other. But see, you can't expect people like Bad Bunny who dress themselves up in clothing to try to get attention because that's the only skill they have, which is really skillless. I mean, we are Americans? No, man. What don't you understand? An illegal alien is not an American. It's just not. And so, see, they get away with being able to say false information. Every single last thing that you heard last night at the Grammys, and I know you didn't listen, so I'm giving it to you, was basically built on a false narrative. And these people won't give a rat's ass about the problems that we're suffering from this whole thing, something that I've been covering for 20 years, until something bad happens to them. That's the only time that these people ever change gears. And I will tell you that there have been a few recurring themes over the course of time when I've made my movies and I've interviewed what are called angel parents. Angel parents are somebody who has lost a child to the hands of an illegal alien or to many. And in almost every single case, the parent has said to me, because I've asked the question about, what did you feel about illegal immigration prior to this? And I would get people say, I didn't realize it was that big of a problem. I used to be of the mindset of these people are just here doing the jobs that Americans don't want to do, and they are here for a better life. And now I understand what it is that I was ignoring. But you know what? It's a little bit too late. It's a little bit too late. You've lost your loved one. Because why? Because you have been lied to by the media and big types like this who have 15 million people watching. And what they're going to do is they're going to focus in on one universal message that Trump sucks and illegal aliens are being treated unfairly. And of course, that American citizens are being targeted, which is absolutely untrue. Here's another woman. I think her name is Kalani or something like that. She is barely dressed. Looks like something you would see on a street corner, selling herself, which I guess in many ways, that's what they're doing. Maybe not for sex, but just for clicks and for likes. And, filled with tattoos all over her. And, this is, I think, maybe a great representation of what it is that the Grammys was filled with. Player.
I wanted to say fuck ICE, but I think they needed some couth on the carpet or something. I'm a little couthless, ruthless. But I think everybody, we're too powerful of a group to all be in the room at the same time and not make some kind of statement in our country. It's brainless to me.
Too powerful a group. Too powerful a group. I won't deny it. They are powerful in the sense that they have brainwashed. Like she said right there, it's brainless in her opinion. And believe me, brainless is what brainless does. And this is a representation of the brainless people in the United States. And trust me when I tell you, when you got 15 million people tuning into that, I think we underestimate the amount of freaks that we have in this country. And it's one of the reasons why we are in so much trouble all the time. Now, this one may be one of my favorites. This is from some artist, Billy what? What's the last name?
Eilish.
Billie Eilish, whatever that means. Get a load of this statement. You're going to love this one. This is my favorite of them all. Go. It's not hard to know what to say and what to do right now, unless, of course, you are brainless and a far-left degenerate. And I want to repeat what I started the show off with. And again, this is my opinion. I haven't looked deep into it. I bet you if I would have taken an hour and take a look at who the audience was in terms of actual names and look up their pasts, I would bet almost everything that in that audience, you have people who have either been arrested or accused or prosecuted and jailed for things like assault on women, rape, theft, DWI, selling of drugs, using drugs, and I'm talking about the worst hard drugs there are. I wouldn't be surprised if there aren't a couple of people there who are co-conspirators to things like murder. I wouldn't be. You had a collection of America's most deranged, disgusting people who have somehow figured out how to rhyme words together, put it to a beat, and make themselves money. And only in America can you do that sort of thing. And, you know, some of these people were making the claim that America was built. I think Bad Bunny was the one who said that, you know, immigrants. Oh, no, there was another guy, a black dude, who had got up there and said that America was built by immigrants. Well, ICE isn't out trying to get immigrants, by the way. They're out trying to get illegal aliens who are here illegally, who have either overstayed a visa, crossed over the border, or who have committed large cases of fraud. But that sort of fact goes over the heads of a lot of these morons. Now, somebody who's not completely moronic, he's got a brain, he's smart, he's a liberal, he's a far left liberal, he's a disgusting human being, but he's not dumb. Okay, he doesn't get up on stage and look just as stupid as he sounds. I mean, these people get up there, I don't even know what to say or do right now. The people stolen land. No, I'm talking about Noah Trevor. Now, Trevor Noah, I can't even say his name right. So this guy, this black guy, he's not funny. He took over the show, the Comedy Central show that used to be Jon Stewart. And he took it over, and he spent quite a long time there. And I think it's for the last 7 years or 6 years, he has been hosting the Grammys. And each and every time, what he's done is he's made it into a political fiasco. And instead of just celebrating music, even though this music is horrible and there really is nothing to celebrate about it, but nonetheless, instead of just focusing in on music, which is, by the way, a dying industry, it really is. I can take you right now, you tell me what it is you want, and I can have a song created for you within minutes that would sound better than all of these other songs that are out there, all based on AI. Absolutely. In fact, we had a shower, for a bridal shower for Ashley going back about 2 weeks ago. And, you know, the house here was filled with women. Oh, my God. Any guys out there, you've ever had to go through this? You know what I'm talking about. I mean, you women, you are fun. You are fun. I got to tell you, I've never watched women be so entertained by reading their own messages. And that's what they did, right? My daughter sat there, and she's got the little thing on her head and the balloons and stuff. And I was in here in the office, and one of my buddies had traveled with his wife and his daughter to come, so we were chilling out. And we were talking about music because he was a musician. He could play guitar and he could sing lyrics. He's really, really good. And I was asking him whether or not he had seen the power of AI. And he said, no. I said, watch this. Let's make a song about Dennis Michael Lynch right now. And I said, go online, find what you can about Dennis Michael Lynch, and make me a song. And within 5 seconds, there was an awesome country song. We should probably play it here. Maybe, you know what I'll do? I'll play it tomorrow. And he's like, oh, my goodness. Seriously, it took 5 seconds. So these recording artists are all going to see themselves fade away. They will fade away, and it will be a great day when it happens. Now, with that saying, with great days, let me read something from you. Donald J. Trump is now threatening to sue Trevor Noah. And first, let's play the statement, because Noah made a derogatory comment and a false statement about Epstein Island and how it relates to Trump. So let's get clarity on that, and then I'm going to read you Trump's tweet. Go.
Of the year. Congratulations, Billie Eilish. Wow. That is a Grammy that every artist wants, almost as much as Trump wants Greenland. Which makes sense. I mean, because Epstein's island is gone, he needs a new one to hang out with Bill Clinton. So, oh, I told you it's my last year. What are you going to do about it? Song of the
What are you going to do about it? Okay, tough guy. Here you go. This is what Trump just tweeted out last night. The Grammy Awards are the worst, virtually unwatchable. CBS is lucky not to have this garbage litter their airwaves any longer. The host, Trevor Noah, whoever he may be, is almost as bad as Jimmy Kimmel at the low ratings Academy Awards. Noah said incorrectly about me that Donald Trump and Bill Clinton spent time on Epstein Island. Wrong. I can't speak for Bill, but have never been to Epstein Island, nor anywhere close, and until tonight's false and defamatory statement, have never been accused of being there, not even by the fake news media. Noah, a total loser, better get his facts straight and get them straight fast. It looks like I'll be sending my lawyers to sue this poor, pathetic, talentless dope of an MC and suing him for plenty of money. Ask little George Slopadopoulos and others, I think that's supposed to be George Stephanopoulos, and others, how that all worked out. Also, ask CBS. Get ready, Noah. I'm going to have some fun with you, President Trump. You know what? I like that. Because and that's why you got to love Trump. And we need to have that attitude towards every single last politician on the left, starting in Minnesota and then going over to LA and California with the mayor and the governor there. Let's get everybody, President Trump, not just the people who come out after you. And I'm all right with you going after Trevor Noah. Maybe they'll think a little bit different next time. But let's go after the big bad wolves that are taking this country and slushing it boom, down the toilet, throwing it out to the ocean. Never going to. The Democrats are literally trying to drown this country. They are trying to drown this country, and they are focusing in on ICE. You realize, right, that this show, this sort of rebirth of our show since January 1, I have not had a single show, notwithstanding interviews, and I've done a handful of them, where I have been able to pull away from the ICE narrative. And that is because the left is focusing in on it. They're keeping it going and going and going. And that it must be that they see some sort of traction going with this. And at the same time, are very concerned that this president and his policies are going to end illegal immigration, and the Democrats will no longer have the ability to get representation in Congress, because what they do is they load up these cities by zip codes with illegal aliens. That's why it is that you see like Somali, Minnesota. You think that's on mistake that they're all landing in the same place? No, they start and then they start to build out. And before you know it, you got a Muslim city, you got a Muslim town, you got a Muslim district, you got a Muslim county, and then you got a Muslim state. And so when they look at that and they look at all the illegal aliens that are in there and giving them that ability, because the illegal aliens are counted when they do the count for congressional representation. And so this may be another reason why they're fighting so hard, because they see what Trump is doing. He's going to basically strip from them the grip that they have on this country from being able to go full-blown greatness. Now, with that said, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. These ICE protests are not stopping. They're just shifting from place to place. Take a look at the new thing now is the no walls. Now, we haven't even built a wall like Trump promised in 1.0, because we really don't need one. We got some walls. They don't really do a whole lot. But now the new message now back is we need no walls, whether it's in Palestine or whether it's blocking Mexico. Play these idiots.
Up with liberation! Down with deportation! From Palestine to Mexico! The border walls have got to go! Down with deportation!
Yeah, one of the signs there, I don't know if you saw it or not, one of the signs there said, "Our future won't defend itself." Your future won't defend itself. You won't have a future if Donald J. Trump does not defend the rule of law. And despite the fact that these people are marching in the streets and making fools of themselves at the Grammys, one day, if there ever is a miracle and these folks find wisdom, they will look back and they will feel absolutely ridiculous that the one president who has gone out of his way, risking his life more times than once, risking everything that he has to put on the line to make America great again, they will look back and they will say, man, did I get that wrong? Man, did I get that wrong? And you gotta believe, you gotta hope, you gotta pray that half of these people that you see in the streets, that they'll look back before it is that they all have children and say, I got to change my ways before it's too late. I'm wishful. I want to look at the glass half full, but it's hard to. I'm going to now take you to L.A. And when you watch this video, and for the people who are only listening to the podcast, this video is filled with police officers trying to protect a VA center from anti-ICE protesters who are literally throwing objects, not as far as I am from the camera, 5 feet, throwing objects and hitting police officers in the head. And why it is that these police officers are not allowed to go back after these people is criminal. Because until these people are held accountable, either in a way of arrest and prosecution and jail time, or physically handled in the way that they should be because they're starting the fight, this is going to continue, but it's pathetic. Watch this and try not to get sick to your stomach. And you wonder why recruitment is down for police officers, because this is allowed to happen. You know, that's what punks do. A punk is somebody who's going to go after someone knowing that that person can't hit them back. Going after these police officers, in my opinion, is no different than going after an 85-year-old man who you know won't hit you back. And even if he tried, it's not going to do anything. These people are punks. And you have to treat punks with the hardest of hands. And if you don't, what you do is you actually empower these punks to continue. And this is why this is allowed to go on. The other thing we've got to do, and man, do I wish I was sitting next to the President of the United States. I really do. I mean, I think Stephen Miller does a pretty strong job. But can you imagine having Stephen Miller and Dennis Michael Lynch sitting right next to him all day long in his ear? He's got one ear and I got the other ear. You know, and just advising him so this way when he's busy with all his things, he's not forgetting what it is that he's not supposed to forget. I mean, until we actually make these people pay a severe price, and until we go after the people who are funding this sort of thing, you know, if you were a co-conspirator in funding a drug cartel, you would be dealt with. If you were to fund the mafia, if you were to fund illegal rackets of some kind, you would be a co-conspirator. But for some reason, when it comes to these protests that turn into violence and riots, because that's not a protest, that's a riot, the people who are funding that get away with it. And it makes absolutely no sense to me. They're hiding behind the First Amendment. And that's not what the Founding Fathers wanted the First Amendment to be. And anybody who thinks otherwise is just a complete idiot. Now, ICE has a role, and when they're allowed to do their role, when they're allowed to play their part, it is highly effective. I'm going to take you to West Virginia. Got no video on this. Just want to give you what was out this morning. For the past 2 weeks, uneventful because there have been no protests, no riots. For the past 2 weeks in West Virginia, ICE has been working hand in hand with local law enforcement and different agencies within that state. And in a 2-week period of time, they rounded up 650 illegal aliens, more than that, more than 650 illegal aliens, including an Indian man who was driving trucks illegally. And we've already seen how many people have died because of that sort of thing. Just given these people who have no idea how to read signs, speak English, they don't know how to drive, but they're getting CDL licenses with information on their licenses that are completely erroneous and lies. And they're killing people. So we just arrested them. We arrested one of him. We arrested a man from China, a Chinese national here illegally, who already has charges against him for, I believe it's abuse of children. Right? It's abuse of children of some kind. And then other people in the list, Dennis. I mean, give me an idea of what the other people were who got arrested, at least some of them.
So, a few that were arrested, convicted child sex abusers, individuals with drug possession convictions, as well as numerous other offenders. And just to reemphasize what you said, there were virtually no protests at all during this. They're calling it Operation Ice Wall in West Virginia. And many people have noted the stark difference of this sheriff compared to Minnesota because he released the following comment. The sheriff's office was impressed with the professionalism and work ethic of the agents and how well they interacted with both local law enforcement officers and citizens. Working with such a high caliber group of agents who were assigned to Jefferson County made the decision to support the initiative all the worthwhile.
Think about what was said back in the Grammys, one of the videos there at the Grammys, about how it is that this government is taking masked men with no identifications and sending them against American citizens. The reason why these men are masked is because they're getting doxxed and their families are being threatened, not only just by these tyrants that are in the streets looting and destroying property and protecting illegal aliens, but drug cartels. They always skip that part. They make it sound as if these people are going out because they want to create crimes and they don't want to get caught. These are not bank robbers. This isn't Jesse James. This isn't, some crazy gang like TDA or MS-13 that's going around with bakalavas because they don't want to get caught. I never would understand this. How it is that people would go against the rule of law, because without the rule of law, you don't have the Grammys. You don't have the ability to protest. You don't have the ability to do anything, because without the rule of law, what you are is you're the third world. That's the only difference between the third world and the first world. It's not trash, because I can take it to plenty of places. India. India is the most dirty place on earth. India isn't the third world, though it acts like it in many different ways. But the way to determine between the first world and the third world is by the rule of law. You are the third world, you have chaos. You have chaos. And that's what the Democrats want. There's no better example. I'm going to take you right now. I don't know this woman's name, but she is a GOP state representative in the state of Washington. Not Washington, D.C., but the actual freaking deep blue state of Washington. Listen to this representative explain new bills that are being put forward in the state of Washington that basically protect criminals, child predators, you name it. Play it.
The messenger, but an income tax is coming. Cairo News released a draft of that bill, which we will see in the House this week. In addition, Things like the House Community Safety, in my opinion, should be renamed to the committee that wants to put perpetrators and rapists and murderers on your streets. There is a bill that will allow criminals to get out of prison earlier and put them into our communities. In addition, there's a bill in the Housing Committee that will be voted out this week that will allow homeless encampments in your communities. Think about your city soccer fields, city parks, and city officials would not be able to move those encampments. Please like and share this video and keep following us. We are doing our best to stop bad bills and to help fix what's broken in Washington State.
Yeah, unfortunately, this woman is trying to move mountains because in Washington State, I mean, it's just far blue. You know, I was showing you the L.A. protesters. The only thing that supersedes that, we just didn't have time to cut the video, is what happened yesterday in Portland, Oregon. I mean, it's sad to watch our country fall into the abyss. And it's not just all about ICE protests. I'm now going to take it to New York. And I want to remind you of what this show has told you many times over. Many times over. And I'm going to explain it again for the people who are new or people who forgot. And unfortunately, I'm proven right each and every time. And I wish I was wrong. There's nothing more that I'd like to come back and say I was wrong. Ma'am Danny did a great job. Maybe we need more like him. I hate to say it, but I was wrong. There is a very, very easy to understand theory if you look at it deep enough in terms of what somebody like Ma'am Danny, a Democrat, socialist, Muslim, wants to happen. In order to really, truly make New York City like the UK, and to make New York City the shining city on the hill for Democrats, socialists, and for Muslims, you have to fundamentally change that city in a way in which it can never recover. Detroit is a perfect example. If you go into New York City and you take a look, it is more filled with people who have some wealth and middle class and businesses than it is with the poverty-stricken people. A lot of the poverty-stricken people in Manhattan are around Manhattan. You know, they're in the suburbs, they're in the Bronx, they're in parts of Brooklyn, parts of Queens, and even some parts of Manhattan to the outskirts, basically going up to the north side, away from where the Twin Towers were. The further you go away, the more you start getting into what would be slummy. But nonetheless, I mean, for a one bedroom, you're probably going to pay somewhere close to $5,000 a month. For a studio, you're probably going to pay close to $2,500 to $3,000, and maybe even for a room that feels like a closet, you're going to pay $1,000. So think about how many people could actually afford that. Not many. You have to be somewhat successful in order to be able to afford that. Either that or making cash and not having to pay any taxes. So how do you take New York City, Manhattan, the greatest city or once the greatest city in the world, how do you make that a Democrat, socialist, Islamic haven? What you have to do is you have to chase the good people out. You have to make it so miserable for the Dennis Michael Lynches of the world. You have to make it so miserable for the Donald Trumps of the world that eventually they just throw their hands up and say, hey, man, life's too short. I'm trying to boil the ocean and fighting against Ma'am Danny. Not worth it to me. I'm leaving. That's what he wants you to do. He wants you to throw your hands up and say, the hell with it. It doesn't matter how much we get for the apartment. It doesn't matter how much we get for the condo. We've got plenty of money, or at least we've got enough money to where we can move somewhere else and start anew. And goodness, the weather here sucks anyway. So what Ma'am Danny has to do in order to do that is he's got to make everything as miserable as possible. He's got to raise the taxes, and he says it straight out. I'm going to raise the taxes on white neighborhoods because they're the ones with the money. I'm going to raise taxes on targeting white neighborhoods because I know the majority of white people are either Christian or Jewish in New York City. And so that's one way. You get them in the wallet. The other way you get them is quality of life. Now, you won't be able to see this if you're watching, if you're just listening, but Michael Rappaport, the actor Michael Rappaport, who's Jewish, he has been so rude and so obnoxious to Donald J. Trump. However, he's been changing his tune lately because now he's starting to recognize that even though his rhetoric was fun and games with his friends in Hollywood, Now it's starting to rain in his own front yard, and he doesn't like it. And you can't blame Trump for this. So Mamdani, who is, as far as I'm concerned, in my opinion, anti-Jew, he just hides it through taqiyya, which is the permission slip for all Muslims to lie, cheat, and steal. In the word of Allah, if you are forwarding the Islamic doctrine and the plan to take over. Well, Rappaport shows you walking through New York, mounds of garbage and snow that is pushed up against cars in some of the nicest areas of New York City, trapping people in and to where the garbage can't get picked up. If you don't think this is by design, you're nuts. Here's Michael Rappaport. The video's a little shaky, but here's Michael Rappaport giving you the details.
Look at this. This poor bastard ain't getting out until the spring. Look at this. Dirt a week after the snowstorm. Look at this dirty hole. Look at this. I don't know what this guy's gonna do. This guy, call your insurance company. Look at this dirt. Where's the mayor to clean this up? They got garbage everywhere, dirty snow. What do you do with this? Where's your shovel now, Mindami? Look at this. You know how many people fall, break their ankles? Look at this. This is New York. Start spreading the news. And this is on the Upper East Side. 3 minutes from where the mayor lives. Look at this guy. Look at this. Look at this. This guy's never getting. Look at this. Look at this. It's the reality of New York City. 1 month. Where's the salt? Where's the shovels? Where's the plows? Bullshit, fake. Look at this. Look at this. This is a great look for New York. Look at it. This guy's never getting out. His car's destroyed. This poor bastard with his motor scooter.
Well, there you go. You get what you vote for, and that's what was voted for. And here's the craziest part of it all, and also by design. Explain to us, Dennis, what it is that Mamdani was. He was sort of selective in terms of where he did things and didn't, right?
Yes. So photos from the New York Post have shown that Gracie Mansion, where the mayor resides, has been swept of all snow and trash. And if Mamdani needs to leave and have a clear entrance, it is now readily available. However, when you go 1 block over to the surrounding neighborhood streets, based on the photos here and the descriptions by the New York Post, trash piles have gotten so high that they're about 8 feet tall. Many of them have been ripped open and blowing trash everywhere, including some being ripped open by rats. Some of the trash that's been reported to be blowing around is food, waste products, and in some cases, doggy defecation bags. It has been now multiple days since there's been any form of trash pickup.
Well, there you go. See, so that is a master plan. The master plan is to get people like Michael Rappaport so furious that they say, I just can't keep my family here anymore. And then they leave. And then what happens is the prices of everything goes down. You know, apartments go unfilled. People sell off their buildings for cheap. They just want to get out of it because they can't afford the taxes. They can't afford the insurance. They're collecting no rent. And before you know it, you have created the Islamic city of New York. And now what starts to come in are all the garbage people. All the people, and I call them garbage people because it really it truly is. If you look at the 5 most disgusting cities and countries in the world, India is number 1. Pakistan's up there as 2. I mean, in fact, I'll get the list when we play the next video. I'll look it up. I just did something on it yesterday. In New York City is going to be the poster child. But trust me when I tell you, this is spreading city to city. Just like the ICE protests are spreading city to city, people are moving out. And then what happens is that the people who move in, not only are they moving into cheaper locations, but then they're taking what once was the most important jobs. Firemen, police officers, no better example than Philadelphia. Dennis is going to explain to you what the advertising budget is for the sheriff, who is a black female DEI hire, as far as I'm concerned. He's going to explain to you when Ryan starts playing, what you're going to be watching is the new recruitment video to get black females to join the police departments and the sheriff's office. Go ahead, Ryan, play it, and Denny explain.
So the advertising firm for Sheriff Rochelle Bilal's office is TML Communications. And at least from what I can see here, reportedly, their yearly budget for advertising services with this firm is $32,000.
So $32,000 is going to be spent on this video where these women are dancing around like absolute fools. These are the people who are somehow going to protect you from crime in Philadelphia. Now, with that said, I by the way, I just got the list, the 5 dirtiest countries for trash pollution: India, Philippines, Indonesia, Nigeria, and Pakistan. Roughly, get this, between 5 to 10% of all the people that we take in legally, I think it's even closer to 15%, that we take in legally through green cards each year come from those 5 countries. So the culture is going to carry over into these cities, and that's what you're going to get. And you're going to have these black females running Philadelphia. What possibly bad can happen? Well, I've got that video for you too. Now, if you've already seen this on my Facebook page and my X page, then you'll know how good this is. I can't give it to you in the way that I want to because there's a Michael Jackson song that goes, but I want to remind you of something before Ryan plays this. You may recall Michael Jackson back when he put out the song Thriller. Remember when he put Thriller, that whole album out? It was like the first time on MTV that they made a video almost into like a movie. And in that video, there were zombies, dancers who were zombies, if you remember that. Well, somebody took Thriller, the soundtrack, and put it to the video I'm about to show you. This is Philadelphia. So while we have, start playing it, Ryan, while we have the black sheriff female making recruitment videos with the money that she's got from marketing, what we see in Philadelphia looks like an Apocalypse Now married the Thriller video. These people aren't actors doing Michael Jackson's new Thriller. This is people using drugs to the point of where they can't even stand or walk correctly. They're like zombies. This is what happens when you allow Democrats to take over a city and put in Democrat policies. This is what you get. It's horrifying. Horrifying. And this is going to be only getting worse. Trump is trying to stop this. He's trying to stop the drugs from coming in. And the Democrats do everything they possibly can to stop Trump from stopping the drugs. The Democrats want the destruction of our cities. They want the destruction of the country. The people who pay for the protests, they want this to happen. They pay for this to happen. And it's horrifying. It's horrifying because those people at one point in their life, they had something going on. They had something promising. And now it's gone and it's never going to come back. I told you at the outset of the show, just to shift here for a second, there have been 3.5 million pages of more Epstein files. And if I'm not mistaken, Dennis, the Department of Justice says this is about it, right? Yeah, this is it. This is the last you're really going to hear of the Epstein files. And in these emails, a lot of people are mentioned, right? And we've got everybody from Bill Gates. And again, I'm just telling you what I'm reading online. Bill Gates is accused of being with a lot of Russian women. And Epstein, apparently, from these files, looks like he was getting some of his girls from Vladimir Putin. And there's another whole thread going on that alleges that Bill Gates has STDs, and he was getting STDs, and he was trying to hold Epstein accountable. And I mean, it's all over the place. I think we have bigger fish to fry than to try to figure out whether or not these emails are connected to this or connected to that. I mean, Elon Musk, he's got some emails in there as well. He says that they're being taken out of context, that he wanted to go to St. Bart's or something of that nature with Jeffrey Epstein. There are a lot of emails in there with Steve Bannon and text messages or whatever going back and forth. I don't know if they're text messages or emails or whatever it may be. But Steve Bannon not being very friendly to the president of the United States, talking negatively about him behind his back. I mean, these Epstein files, they reveal, if you take them for what they look like they are, in my opinion, they reveal who the bad guys are and who the good guys are.
I would just like to add too, and again, this is reported on Fox News and New York Post, and I had heard about this as well. Someone's name who prevalently appears on that tranche of documents that was released is Mira Nair, who is the mother of Mayor Zohran Mamdani. Since she is a film director, a lot of her screening premieres and parties were actually funded by Jeffrey Epstein about a decade ago. And there are photos that were released in those documents of Mira Nair with a young Mamdani and Jeffrey Epstein at certain parties too. So a lot of documents released there. So it's very crazy.
You know, I think Bannon was starting to do like a documentary with Jeffrey Epstein. And part of it, from what I read online, was to help change the narrative on Jeffrey Epstein, to take everybody's eyes away from things like Epstein Island and these young girls or whatever it may be. But look, you know, it's not a good look to be associated with Jeffrey Epstein at any level. And I understand why people are obsessed with this. They want, you know, I mean, you see it all the time about how it is. Oh, you're protecting a pedophile. You're protecting a pedophile. Nobody likes pedophiles. Children should never be touched. And anybody who ignores or protects that sort of thing is disgusting. I'll be the first one to expose it, which I'm about to do right now. But at the end of the day, I'm anxious for the Epstein file stuff to go away, only because I don't know what we get out of it. I want us to focus in on everything we need to win the midterms. And I'm going to be doing my part as much as I possibly can to sort of shine a light on that in the next couple of months. Because if we lose these midterms, we are in so much trouble. And I believe that there is a strong movement on the right to rid of Trump. I really do. And I believe that there are people who have been trusted. I just mentioned one guy's name. I'm about to show you another one, who are trusted by a lot of folks. And I don't think that they have anybody but themselves at interest. And I think they wrap themselves up in an American flag in order to disguise what they're really out for. I know this show focuses pretty heavily on Islam and Muslim and the doctrine and what Sharia law offers and what it does not. And sometimes I feel like maybe I give it to you a little bit too much. But in the same way that 20 years ago I started filming the border because I knew it was going to be such a bad thing for us after my living 9/11 and seeing what illegal immigration, visa violations and everything else, I have felt a need to be one of the voices that keeps on pounding the message and trying to show you new stuff all the time to say that it's just not some one-off, it's a real thing. I'm about to play a video for you right now that highlights, I think it's a portion of Afghanistan, where families are actually selling their daughters to other men so this way they can marry them. It is heart-wrenching, it is disgusting, but understand that this is what eventually is coming to the United States of America if we do not get in front of this problem immediately. And I want you to take this and know that it is part one of part two as we wind down the show here of the crazy left. Play it.
5 years old, 7 years, 9 years, 6 years old. These are girls already sold into marriage, many too young to even know their own ages. 8 years, they're often prompted by their guardians. 6 years, the husbands they'll go to are a decade or more older. The last to talk is 5 years old. The youngest, in her father's arms, is a 7-month-old baby given in lieu of medical bills. The girls have no say. This in one of Afghanistan's poorest villages. And the deprivation here means girls are being sold into marriage earlier and more often. There's not enough room in the tent for all the parents who want to show us their young daughters they've sold. We don't want to sell them, she says, but we're poor and we have to eat. Hajira had fetched an above-average price, more than $6,000. Then she got injured, and the deal was called off. I'd already sold her to a family, her father tells us, but they brought her back when she got injured and said they couldn't take care of her, so I never got any of the money. Now he's on the hunt for another buyer. Once final payments made for his eldest daughter, she'll be sent to her new family. She wants to study and is too young to question what's happening.
Ah, it's so heart-wrenching. It's so heart-wrenching. There used to be a day when Tucker Carlson would share this sort of thing with you on Fox News. He would talk about it. He'd write about it. But those days are over. And now instead, he finds himself going all over the Middle East and speaking on behalf of Islam. And then he makes jokes about it when people criticize him or ask questions about it. And so for today's Crazy Left video, here is Tucker Carlson.
Who has brainwashed you to think the camels are so attractive?
I've just been marinating in the Saudi Kingdom long enough that I like the camels with the fuller lips. I like the ones with the symmetrical humps. I like the ones with the powerful chests and the live back legs. Like, I have strong camel
Look
preference.
at you, Mr. Carlson. Look at you. Namus. Namus.
It's a sad day. It's a very sad day. And, you know, what a fall from grace he took. The problem is that Tucker Carlson is more dangerous today than AOC, more dangerous today than Ilhan Omar, more dangerous than Gavin Newsom. And I'll tell you why that is. Sadly, he has amassed such a huge audience, and in the same way that the left is easily brainwashed, so too are many people on the right. And he has played a major role in making people ignore what it is that the Muslim Brotherhood swears upon, and that is that they're going to take over the West from inside out, starting with our government and taking over lands and trying to make things like Epic City and doing what they do to little girls. I mean, that's ignored. What they do to women, it's ignored. What they believe in is ignored. And so when Tucker Carlson is trying to normalize this, my fear, and I know why they're doing it, I know why they buddy up with Tucker Carlson. The Middle East doesn't like Tucker Carlson. They don't align with him in the sense of his religious beliefs. But they know that he's a powerful voice and that, you know, in my opinion, and I guess it's theirs too, that he could be bought. And anybody who's willing to sell out his country for money, I mean, I look at this and I say to myself, my God, Tucker, you have kids. And one day you're going to have grandkids. And those grandkids are, when they can only hope, I think Tucker has mostly all girls. So their last names won't be Carlson. That's probably the best thing for them. That's the only hope they have. Because if one of the daughters names their kid Tucker, well, maybe be Tucker Smith or Tucker, whatever their last name is, but another Tucker Carlson, those kids will be blackballed. And it won't be, they'll be blacklisted. And it won't be because Tucker Carlson was a conservative and a Trump voter, oh no, it will be the conservatives who are the ones that blacklist them because of what he became. And there are very harsh words for what he's become. I'll let you put them into your own mind. You don't need me to say it. That's it for me. I ask you, please, if you're on Facebook, Dennis has put the link in there in the live chat a couple of times. We are converting over to Facebook. It's a slow conversion. We're going to be doing it for the entire year. YouTube, we're converting from Facebook to YouTube. And the reason being is because YouTube is now allowing people to speak freely, and they are playing full videos, and they are showing it to more people than not. We're almost at half the people viewing our content on YouTube on a live compared to how many are being shown on Facebook, because Facebook doesn't like live videos anymore. They sort of restrict it. And so when you sit there and you say, my goodness, I only have 34,000 on YouTube, but I got 1.6 million on Facebook, and yet I'm 50% of what the number is on watching live. So we're going to be building our YouTube over the next year, and we believe by the end of this year, we will have ourselves a significant audience over there, and that will be that. And if you're going to tell me, oh, go to Rumble, I'm not going to go to Rumble. Rumble has favoritism towards one guy, two guys maybe, and that guy plays at the same hour we do. I'm not going to try to compete over there because, he also is a major stockholder in the company. So with that said, YouTube is going to be our new home. We ask you, for the live show anyway, we ask you please to like and subscribe, as we only do Facebook a couple of times a week and trying to get you over. We're on YouTube every single day. It's a long strategy. It's one I thought about long and hard, and I think it's one that's going to win for us. So it only wins if you come with us. With that said, please hit the share button. If you share, you care. If you don't, well, then you only came here to look at my haircut, which is a little bit too short as far as I'm concerned, especially right now because it's only 30 degrees in Florida. But hair grows back. Until the next time, God willing, tomorrow, may God bless you, your family, the United States of America, and the President of the United States of America. May he get Trevor Noah, and make him pay deeply. We'll talk to you soon.
Dennis Michael Lynch podcast every day by subscribing on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and download the DML News App from the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store for breaking news, merchandise, films, exclusive content, and TeamDML. Get the Dennis Michael Lynch podcast every day by subscribing on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and download the DML News App from the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store for breaking